Hello everybody, in this video I will discuss factors and multiples, and we will look at highest common factor and lowest common multiple. Highest common factor, or HCF. Now what is that? When two or more numbers share the same factors, we call these factors common factors. So then the highest common factor that is common to two or more numbers, that is called the HCF. Now before we can start with that, we need to prime factorize. That's why we explained that in the previous lesson. So the question is, find the HCF, highest common factor, of 32, 48 and 84. So you start by prime factorization, and we're going to prime factorize 32. So you say 2 goes into 32 16 times. And then 2 goes into 16 8. 2 goes into 8 4. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into itself once. And can you remember, you stop with your prime factorization when you reach 1. So the factors of 32, the prime factors of 32 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then when we prime factorize 48, we start with 2 again. The smallest prime number that can go into 48 is 2. 2 goes into 48 24 times. 2 goes into 24 12 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 goes into itself once. And then therefore they are 48's prime numbers, prime factors rather, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And then 84, when we prime factorize, 2 goes into 84 42 times. 2 goes into 42 21. Now 2 can't go into 21, so we take the next prime number, which is 3. 3 goes into 21 7. 7 goes into 7 once. Therefore, they are the prime factors. They are 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Now, to find the highest common factor, we go to the prime factors and we look for a number that's common to all three. And here you can see that 2 is common to all three. And then again, there's another 2 that's common to all three. And then the rest, there's nothing. Here on 32 and 48, there's a 2, but then there's no extra 2 on 84. Therefore, your highest common factor is 2 times 2, which is 4. So what happened was, this 2 represents that group of 2's, and that 2 represents that group of 2. So the highest common factor between the three will be 4. Let's do more examples. Find the HCF of 60, 84 and 90. So we start by prime factorizing. With the 60, 2 goes into 60 30 times. 2 goes into 30 15 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes in itself once. Therefore, the prime factors of 60 are 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. 84. 2 goes into 84 42 times. 2 goes into 42 21. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 goes into itself once. Therefore, the factors are 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Then 90. When we prime factorize 90, 2 goes into 90 45 times. Then 3 goes into 45 15 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes in itself once. Therefore, prime factors of 90, 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And you will see that I wrote this with a little gap there so that I can see that the common factors are written underneath each other. So now we make a group. We can see that 2 is common to all 3. There's a 2 missing here, and then here the 3 will be common to all 3 of them, and that's it. Therefore, the highest common factor, this group, that 2 represents it, and this group is that 3. The highest common factor, 2 times 3 is 6. The next example, let's find the highest common factor of 75, 120, and 200. We start by prime factorizing 75. So 3 goes into 75, 25. Then 5 goes into 25, 5 times. 5 goes in itself once. The prime factors of 75, 3 times 5 times 5. 120, prime factorize. 2 goes into 120, 60 times. 2 goes into 60, 30 times. 2 goes into 30, 15 times. 3 goes into 15, 5 times. 5 goes into 5 once. Therefore, the prime factors of 120, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Let's prime factorize 200. 2 goes into 200, 100 times. 2 goes into 100, 50 times. 2 goes into 50, 25 times. 5 goes into 25, 5 times. 5 goes in itself once. The prime factors of 200 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. And then to find the highest common factor, the only factor that's common to all 3 is this 1, 5. Therefore, the HCF of 75, 120, and 200 is 5. The lowest common multiple, or LCM. Multiple is the product of 2 natural numbers. LCM, it's the lowest multiple that is common to 2 or more numbers. So our example is find the lowest common multiple of 12 and 9. So the first method is to write down the multiples of that number. So the multiples of 12 are 12, 24, 36, 48, etc. And the multiples of 9 are 9, 18, 27, 36. So it's very clear that the lowest common multiple is the number 36. There's another method of finding the lowest common multiple instead of writing down all the multiples. Let me explain. So the first thing you do is you prime factorize the 2 numbers. So when we prime factorize 12, we say 2 goes into 12 6 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 3 goes into itself once. So the prime factors of 12 are 2 times 2 times 3. And then when we prime factorize 9, we say 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into itself once. So 9 is 3 times 3. Now what we do is we look at the factors and then we make little groups where we find common ones. And then to find the LCM, the lowest common multiple, you write down all the factors, 2 times 2, and then you find this group of 3. And then this 3 represents that group. And then you go to the other number, and whatever is left, whatever factors are left, you write that down. So this 3 is this 3. And then when you multiply, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. Therefore, the lowest common multiple is 36. Whatever method you prefer, you may use that in your exam. Let's look at the next example. Find the lowest common multiple of 24 and 90. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the prime factorization method. So I start with 24. 2 goes into 24 12 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 goes into itself once. Therefore, the prime factors of 24 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Then, when you prime factorize 90, you say 2 goes into 90 45 times. 3 goes into 45 15 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes into itself once. Therefore, the prime factors of 90 are 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. So what you do next is you go to your factors, you find you can make a group of 2 there, and you can make a group of 3. And then this is how you're going to write it. So this group of 2 will be represented by that 2, and then you go back to 24 and you write down 2 times 2. And then the group of 3 is that 3 over there, and then whatever factors were left on 90, there's a 3 times a 5. You write them down. When you multiply everything, you find the lowest common multiple is 360. Let's look at the last example. Find the LCM lowest common multiple of 18, 30 and 45. So we start by prime factorization. 2 goes into 18 9 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into itself once. Therefore, the prime factors of 18 are 2 times 3 times 3. When we prime factorize 30, we say 2 goes into 30 15 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes into 5 once. Therefore, the prime factors of 30 are 2 times 3 times 5. And when we prime factorize 45, we say 3 goes into 45 15 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 goes into itself once. Therefore, the prime factors of 45 are 3 times 3 times 5. Now, to find the lowest common multiple, we look for common factors. So, 2, we can form a group there. 3, we can form a group. 3, we can form a group. And 5, we can form a group. Therefore, the lowest common multiple, can you see? This 2 is represented by that group. The 3 is that group. This 3 is that group. The 5 is that group. When you multiply everything, the lowest common multiple is 90. In the next video, we will look at real-life problems with whole numbers. In other words, typical questions that you can expect in the exam. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next video.